Hello everyone, time for another movie review. Let's talk about Black Widow. It's the latest Marvel movie and you can now go and see it in theaters, but if you're here watching this video, I assume that you've already watched it, either on Disney Plus with premium access or in theaters like I did. It's the movie that many of us begged to get for years, and one that we all needed. Everyone needed it actually, but certainly it's not the one that we had in mind. It's 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's not that bad, but among Marvel movies, it's certainly not on the top of the lists, let's say. However, the audience score is pretty high. It's 92, so it's pretty good. So I'd say I assume that people pretty much enjoyed it, but it looks like that people are either on the side of it's a good movie, it's a decent movie, or it's terrible because of the discussions online that I have seen. So let's see what happened. Also, spoiler warning, I might get into some mild little spoilers, but since I'm a bit late to the party, I assume that you have all watched the movie by now. On the MCU timeline, this film takes place after the Civil War and before Infinity War. And I should say, we should have got this movie before the end game. Like anytime before the end game would have been fine. But right now, I can't say that it's necessary on the timeline, It just doesn't sound right, doesn't feel right on the timeline of the MCU right now. So with this movie, we're supposed to dive deep into Natasha's past and like what happened in Budapest, or Budapest as she says, and I don't think we really got that. We kind of got it, but we really didn't got it as much as we wanted to. That's how I put it. Like they mostly tell us what happened rather than showing us. Like they show us a bit, yes, obviously, but it's not that much. It's like, yeah, this stuff happened and here are some brief flashbacks, there you go, and that's about it. Now, to be honest, the first 20 minutes is pretty decent and I really enjoyed it. It was intense, it got anything that I wanted from this movie. The opening credits showing what they do to children and addressing child trafficking and brainwashing them and eventually turning them into Black Widows is a pretty dark theme. Add to this dark theme of the opening credits the amazing music of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Malia J, and you've got the audience invested. So after 20 minutes or so, I don't know what happens, but it's like another movie starts. It feels like it's another movie. They're two separate movies. After that, I wondered, okay, but what happened to that and that other movie? I wanted that to continue, not this one. This is not the one that I wanted. Another questionable thing that I noticed during the first act, and there were some very few scenes that it had butt shots, and it was so weird. Like, okay, who directed this? Like, Joss Whedon? So many times the movie tries to be a combination of the Bourne series and the Mission Impossible franchise, and unfortunately, it's not. It fails to be that. And I don't say that it needs to be that. It could have been its own thing, like they're trying to be here with this movie, but it's a mixture of a lot of things that doesn't turn out well. So the dark theme of the first 20 minutes or so of the movie is a thing that I enjoyed a lot. and I wish it had continued more. So we should have dived deeper into Natasha's past. One of the things that I liked about the movie, again, it was also the costumes for the widows, and also the winter snow, the white costume that is also on the poster. That also looked pretty cool, but there's one questionable thing about these costumes. Although they look cool, but if the intention of this organization, the bad guy, that he has this organization of Red Room and these widows, if the intention is to kill and overall operate in the shadows and in the dark, with those costumes, you really don't blend into the crowd. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious. So, to wrap it up about the costumes, yes, they look cool and I like it a lot. I want to wear them. Although they kind of feel uncomfortable now that I think about it. But anyways, they look cool. But the fact is that in a world of espionage and spies and killing people, I don't think it works. And the same complaint, the same problem goes for Taskmaster. Like, you show up in the streets in a bright daylight with a huge vehicle like, that's not logical. They're not even trying to hide anything. And now, speaking of hiding, let's talk about the Red Room that's in the sky. Like, how does no one notice that? How can you not notice? It's like, it's not on the radar of anyone, any military base. No one notices anything in the sky that gigantic. How is it possible? I mean, I seriously don't get it. How Tony could have seen it. So again, to me, it's really weird that no one found out about Red Room that's in the sky. So, because it's weird that we have to now believe that no one, not even one single Avenger, knows anything that's going on, like, in the sky. No one knows. We're supposed to believe that somehow. Alright? Okay. We're moving on with the complaints here. We're talking about bad stuff. I will talk about the good stuff as well. Don't even let me get started on the Red Guardian. What a waste of good David Harbour. The guy's an amazing actor. I mean, how did you manage to underuse his talent and make his character annoying and stupid sometimes? He doesn't even get one good, decent fight scene. Yeah, there are just two fight scenes. One with Taskmaster, which in that scene he just gets beaten up. Like, in that scene when he fights Taskmaster, he fails miserably. And that's terrible. Like, he's like the equivalent of Captain America, sort of. And I just don't see that. How does that work? Because we didn't get a decent fight scene. There's not much characterization there. I mean, it was a real bummer, to be honest with you. And then there's a scene where he is arm wrestling when he's in prison while he's getting a back tattoo. And I mean, I know that scene is written to prove us that he is very strong and he doesn't feel that much pain. But the fact is that the person who wrote that scene, I don't think that they knew how getting a tattoo works. I mean, how it is possible that everyone on the set that day, and everyone was there, and No one, not a single person pointed out that, oh, getting a tattoo does not work like that. It's not. So I complained a lot. Now, one good thing that I gotta say is that all of the actors across the board, uh, they did their best job with what they have, which is the script. But among all of these actors, as everyone has said on the internet by now, the best job was done by Florence Pugh. She's actually the best part of the movie, and I think she's the most crucial to some degree, and also the reason why many of the scenes works. That's how good she is. Another strong thing about the movie, the first time that I watched the movie in the theater, I was thinking, wow, this score is amazing. I like the tone of it, I love everything about it. And then in the credits, I saw that, oh yeah, the score was done by Lorne Balfe, the man who made one of my most favorite action movie scores, Mission Impossible Fallout. I love that movie. And the score is amazing. Action sequences and fight scenes were mediocre. They were not as good as you would have hoped it to be, like the ones you see in Winter Soldier, but they're not as bad either. I just wish that they were more and that they were better choreographed. And of course, I wish that I could have get more Taskmaster mirroring fight scenes. I also gotta point out that casting OT Fag Bentley was a red herring that made us believe he's gonna be the Taskmaster. Obviously, we found out that he's not, but still, I really enjoyed the scenes he was in and liked the character he portrayed. And I dare say I want to see his character in more MCU projects. So overall, Black Widow is not Marvel's best work, but certainly is not among its worst either. Now, to be honest, it's just okay. We wanted to find out more about Natasha's past, but the fact is that we really didn't get it. The movie didn't add much, and it's just a missed opportunity because we all know that Natasha's not coming back. At least by the time that I'm recording this video. Now, the movie certainly leaves us with a few questions with that awesome mid-credit scene, and of course, a freaking cool character again that we will be seeing a lot more hopefully in the MCU, and that's Yelena Belova, whom Florence Pugh characterized and brought to life with her remarkable talent. And the other important thing about the mid-credit scene was that they're trying to tell you that, hey, you gotta watch our Disney Plus shows. They're important. And that if you don't watch, you won't understand what's happening in our movies. And this may be a problem for some people. I'm a big Marvel fan, so I follow everything that they release, either on Disney Plus or in the theaters. I don't care. I follow everything that Marvel releases. I just love everything they do. I may criticize them, but I'm trying to be constructive here. And that's just because I'm a big fan. That's it. So it's not a problem for me to follow the shows, but there are many people who don't want to follow the shows, or they just don't have time, any reason. For any reason, they just don't want to. But with the mid-credit scene, they just told us, oh no, you gotta follow our shows. So in conclusion, if you're a big fan, you might have watched the movie already more than once, because I know some people have watched it more than once. But if you're not, I cannot convince you to watch the film, because it doesn't really affect the MCU timeline apart from like maybe one or two things that happen, especially the mid-credit scene that's important. Like, that's about it. And you can see those spoilery things on the internet, on Twitter especially, also in YouTube. But other than not much affecting the MCU timeline, it just introduces Yelena as our new darker version of Black Widow. That's the big thing, about the movie. So these were my thoughts about Black Widow. What do you think? Tell me down in the comments what do you think and what's your view on the movie. Do you agree with me or disagree with me on this stuff? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye!